Okay, good day, children. So, welcome to our lesson and pag-aaral ngayon. So, our topic will be rounding numbers. The objective, round numbers to the nearest 10, 100, and thousands. Compare using relation symbols and orders in increasing or decreasing order for two 5-digit number up to 10,000. Okay, so identify the place value of the underlined digit. So what is the underlined digit? 8 is the underlined digit. Is in the tens place value. 1 is in the place value of thousands. 0 is in the place value of ones. 6 is in the place value of tens. And 9 is in the place value of hundreds. Another. Okay, so let's proceed. So 8, let's count po ha, magsisimula tayo sa 2. This is in the place value of ones. 2 is in the place value of ones. 6 is in the place value of tens, hundreds, and thousands. So 8 is in the place value of thousands. So very correct. And 1 is the underlying number or underlying digit is in the place value of thousands. 4 is the underlying digit which is in the place value of 10,000s. So 6 nasa pangalawa po siya. So 7 is ones, 6 is tens. So nasa tens place value siya. 9 is in 1,000 place value. So now let's proceed. Okay, in rounding numbers, focus on the digit to the right of the number in a place we need to round to. Okay po. So 5, okay, this will be only a review para alam po natin kung ano yung mga place value po ng mga numbers. Okay, 5,273. 2, bakit naiiba pong kulay ang 2? 2 is in a red color. So, ibig sabihin, si 2 po ang i-round off natin. Si 2 ang i-round, si 2 po yung i-round off natin. No? Okay, so saan? Paano po natin, teacher, malalaman? O paano po natin ma-round off si 2? Okay, so ganito po. Thousands, ones, 3 is in the place value of ones. 7 is in a place value of tens, 2 is in a place value of hundreds, and 5 is in a place value of thousands. Look at the digit in the rounding place. If the digit at the right side of the place is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, add 1 to the right of the rounding place. Okay, sabi po, tingnan natin yung right. So, ang number 2 ang i-round off po natin. Tingnan natin yung right niya. The right side niya po is number 7. Yung nasa right niya is number 7. Malaki. Ang sabi po dito, if the digit, kapag ang number doon sa right side ni number na i-round off natin ay 5 hanggang 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, mag-a-add tayo doon sa number na i-round off natin ng 1. Okay, so si 7 ay sakop sa 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So mag-a-add tayo ng 1. So dadagdagan natin ng 1 si 2. Okay, si 2 dadagdagan ng 1. Magiging 3. Kapag kukuha tayo ng 1 kay 7, idadagdag natin kay 2 kasi malaki si 7. Nasa 5 pataas siya o 5 to 9. Mag-a-add tayo ng 1 kay 2. Eh sabi po, round off 5,273 to the nearest hundreds. Si 2 po kasi ang nasa hundreds place. Kaya si 2 po ang i-round off natin. And then, nung tinignan natin si right side ni 2, 5 to 9, mataas po si 7. Nasa 5 to 9 siya, sakop po siya. Kaya mag-a-add tayo ng 1 kay 2. Si 2 ay magiging 2 plus 1, magiging 3. Ayan. So, teacher, bakit naging 0, 0? Eh, di ba si 7 at si 3 po yun? Okay, so ganito po. Kapag na-round off na natin si 5,273 to the nearest hundreds, si 3 po yung tinutukoy kasi nasa hundreds si 3, ay si 2, kaya naging 3. Dinagdagan natin siya ng 1 galing kay 7. Naging 3 na siya. And drop the digits at its right and replace them with zeros. So kapag nadagdagan na natin si 2 or doon si hundreds place value na number, kung sino yung hinahanap, lagi natin titingnan nearest hundreds. Pag nearest thousands, si 5 dapat po, pero hundreds ang nakalagay. Kapag nalagyan na-transfer na natin yung add, naka-add 1 na tayo kay 2, si 2 naging 3 na, the rest nito, yung nasa likuran nito, magiging 0 na po siya. Kaya yung nag-add tayo ng 2 kay, ay nag-add tayo ng 1 kay 2, naging 3 si 2, naging 0, 0 na si 7 at saka si 3. Okay. Kahit anong number po ang nandyan, basta kapag nag-add na tayo doon sa another, magiging automatic 0 na yung nasa right side ni, okay, nung pinalitan natin. Sabihin, bakit teacher si 5 hindi naman po gumalaw? Si 5 hindi po natin gagalawin kasi dito naman tayo kay 2 nag-add ng number or nag-add 1. So yung kasunod niya lang, yun na yung tatanggalin natin. So ayan po, drop the digits at its right and replace them with 0. So ikakopy lang natin si 5 pababa, si 2 naging 3, maging 0, 0 na yung mga nasa likuran. Okay, 7 is more than 5, tama? So si 7 ay mas mataas kay 5. So we can add 1, mag-add tayo ng 1 doon sa number 2, tama? To round it up to make it 300 or 3. And 0, 0 si 7 and si 3. So 5,300 ang nangyari na po doon sa numbers or 5,273 na round off na siya in 5,300. Okay, if the digit is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, keep the digit in the rounding place and drop all the digits at its right and replace them with zeros. Okay, so ito naman po. Round of 7,239 to the nearest thousands. Si 7 ay nasa nearest thousands o nasa place value ng thousands. Okay, ang sabi po, i-round off natin si 7. Eh sabi po dito po, tingnan nyo po, if the digit, kapag ang digit ng katabi ng i-round off natin ay 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 o alin man dyan hanggang 4, ano po, mananatili yung number na yon. Hindi tayo mag-a-add. Okay, mananatili siyang number, wala tayong idadagdag, pero yung mga kasunod niya ay magiging 0, 0 na. O, katulad nito, si 7, ang katabi niya o nasa right side niya ay si 2. Mataas ba si 2? Nakasama ba si 2 doon sa 5 to 7 o 5 to 9? Hindi po. So, nasa 0 to 4 siya. So, hindi natin gagalawin, hindi tayo magdadagdag kay 7, mananatili si 7 at magiging 0 yung mga nasa likuran niya. O, tingnan natin. Yan. So, si 2 yung babawasan sana natin na ilalagay kay 7. Pero mababa siya, hindi siya umabot sa 5, hindi tayo magdadagdag kay 7. So, ang mangyayari, 2 is less than 5. Mas mababa yung 2 kaysa kay 5. So, we just drop the digits to the right and make it zeros. Kopyahin lang natin si 7 at gawin natin 0, 0, 0 yung mga nasa likod kung ilan yung number na yan. Okay? Naintindihan po ba? Okay, so now, look at the examples. Nearest 10. Teacher, bakit naging 90 yung sagot? Kasi si 9 ay mataas. 9 is mataas. Nasa 5 to 9 po siya, tama? Ang rule po, kapag ang number na may guhit o underline o yung sa tinutukoy nila nearest 10 o yung place value si 10. Ito lang naman si 10, si 8. Okay. Kapag siya, hinanapan natin, i-round off natin si 8, titingnan natin yung right side niya, yung katabi niya. So, si 9 yun. Okay. So, si 9 ay malaki, so mag-a-add tayo kay 8 ng 1. And automatic, si 9 magiging 0. Kaya, 8 plus 1 will be 9. And then, automatically, si 9 ay magiging 0. Okay, naintindihan po? And so on, so forth. Ganun po. 492. Okay, si 9 ang i-round off natin since si 2 ay mababa sa 5. Kaya hindi tayo mag-a-add ng 1. Magiging 0 lang si 2. Kukopyahin to, kung kopyahin to, and 0. Ganun din po. 575. Bakit ang sagot, teacher? 580. Kasi si 5 ay mataas. Nakasama siya doon sa rule natin na 5 to 9, add 1. Okay. Kapag ang nasa right side ng i-round off natin ay 5 to 9, mag-a-add tayo ng 1 doon sa rounding digit. O ito yung rounding digit natin, yung i-round off natin. So magiging 580. So ganun din po, naging 600 kasi mataas si 5. Si 849, naging 800 lang kasi mababa si 9. Ay mababa si 4. 1,372, naging 1,400 kasi si 7, yung katabi ni 3 mataas. Nag-add tayo ng 1 and naging 0, 0 na yung mga nasa likod. 7,816, naging 8,000 kasi po si 7, ang katabi niya ay si 8. Malaki si 8, kasama siya sa 5 to 9, then add 2, add 1, then automatically, yung mga nasa likod ni rounding number magiging 0, 0. Okay, so 9,000 o 42,071. No, nanatiling 42,000 kasi 0 yung nasa katabi o yung katabi ni rounding numbers. Okay, so let's watch this video.
Welcome to Math Antics. In this video, we're going to learn about an important math concept called rounding. To help you understand what rounding is, let's think about how numbers are usually used. Most of the time, numbers are used to represent amounts of things, like how many miles it is to the supermarket, or how many days until your birthday, or how many students went to your high school. How many students went to my high school? Oh, about 2,000. Okay, but it wasn't exactly 2,000, was it? Well, no, it was more like 1,900. But it probably wasn't exactly 1,900 either, was it? Well, no, it was more like 1,860. All right, fine. 1,863. See what I did there? At first, the number used to represent the students at high school was a round number. It was a good estimate of how many students there were, but it wasn't exact. The next two numbers were a little closer to the truth, but they were still estimates. Only the final number represented the exact amount of students at the school. All three of the estimates are rounded versions of the exact count, but they have different levels of precision. 1,860 was the most precise estimate, and 2,000 was the least precise estimate. So rounding a number basically means making a less precise version of it. And as you can see, there's usually multiple ways to round a number depending on the level of precision that you need. A really good way to understand what's going on when you round a number is to look at a number line. Here's 1,863. If we want to round it to the nearest 10, we need to decide if it goes up to 1,870 or down to 1,860. But if we want to round it to the nearest 100, we need to decide if it goes up to 1,900 or down to 1,800. And if we want to round it to the nearest 1,000, we need to decide if it goes up to 2,000 or down to 1,000. And in each case, the decision was based on which round number was closer to the original exact number. But you might be wondering, why would we ever want to make a number less precise in the first place? What is rounding good for? Well, rounding numbers can often make them a lot easier to do calculations with. Like, it would be a lot easier to quickly add 300 and 500 than it would be to add 312 and 498. Or sometimes you just don't need very much precision. Like, you might not need to know that your dog weighs 55.83297 kilograms. 55.8 kilograms might be precise enough. And some numbers, like repeating decimals or irrational numbers, have to be rounded off, because we can't just keep writing decimal digits forever. Okay, now that you know what rounding is and why we do it, for the rest of this video, we're going to focus on learning the procedure we follow to round off a number. Do you remember how our number system is based on digits and number places? Each digit of a number occupies a particular number place, and each number place is named according to the amount it represents, or counts. And it's important to know those names whenever you're rounding a number, because you'll usually be asked to round to a specific number place. For example, you may be asked to round a number to the nearest 10, or the nearest 100. Or you might be asked to round a number off to the nearest 10th, or 100th. You may even be asked to round to the nearest whole number, which is another way of asking you to round to the ones place. Okay, so when you're asked to round a number, the first step is to pay very close attention to which number place you need to round to. That number place is important because it represents the smallest unit of counting that you're going to keep in your rounded version of the number. In fact, that number place and the digit inside it is so important that I'm going to give it a special name just for this video. Let's call it the target. As I mentioned, rounding a number means making a new, less precise version of it. In that new number, any digits that are in number places smaller than the target will automatically get replaced with zeros. And in most cases, any digits that are in number places larger than the target will automatically be kept the same in the new rounded version. There are some exceptions, as we'll see later in this video. So that seems pretty simple. All the bigger digits you keep, and all the smaller digits you zero. But what about that target digit itself? What do we do with that? Well, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to keep that digit the same, or we're going to increase it by 1. If we keep that target digit the same, that's called rounding down, which might seem strange at first. I mean, how can leaving the digit the same be rounding down? But remember, we're going to automatically replace all of the smaller places with 0. And doing that makes a rounded number smaller, even if the target digit stays the same. On the other hand, increasing the target digit by 1 is called rounding up, since the new rounded number will be larger than the original number. Alright, but how do we decide which to do? How do we know if we keep the target digit the same or increase it by 1? The key is to look at the digit in the next smaller number place, the digit that's just to the right of the target digit. If that digit is less than 5, in other words, if it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, then we'll leave the target digit the same in the rounded version. But if the digit is a 5 or greater, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, then we'll increase the target digit by 1. Okay, so now that you know the basic procedure for rounding numbers, let's try a few specific examples. Here's the first one. Round 24,623 to the nearest 100. Since we need to round to the nearest 100, we first need to identify the digit in the hundreds place. That digit is a 6, so that's our target. And we know that any digits to the right of the target will be replaced with zeros in our rounded version. Next, let's decide what to do with the target digit. We either keep it the same or we increase it by 1. To decide, we look at the value of the next digit to the right. Since that digit is only a 2, which is less than 5, we round down, which means that we'll keep the target digit the same in the rounded number. Last, we just keep all the digits in bigger number places the same in the rounded version. There, we've rounded the original number to the nearest 100, and the answer is 24,600. Let's try another problem. This one has some decimal digits, 32.725, and we're asked to round it to the nearest whole number. That means our target digit is in the ones place. We need to round it to the nearest 1. So any digits to the right of the ones place will just be replaced with zeros in the rounded version. Now, to decide what to do with the target digit, we look at the next digit to the right. Since that digit is a 7, we'll round up this time. That means we'll increase our target digit by 1. And finally, we keep any digits to the left of the target digit the same. In this case, that's just the 3. So we've rounded this number off to 33.000, or just 33 since we don't really need those extra zeros after the decimal point. Ready for one more? Let's round 65.7991 to the nearest hundredth. The first step is to identify the hundredths place as our target. That place contains the digit 9. All the digits in smaller number places will just be replaced with 0 in the rounded version. Next, we need to decide if we leave the target digit the same or increase it by 1. So we look at the digit to the right of the target. It's a 9 also, so we'll definitely be rounding up. But since the target digit is already a 9, raising it by 1 is a little more complicated. When you add 1 to a digit that's already 9, you need to change it to 0 and increase the digit in the next bigger number place by 1. So that means that our target digit will become 0, and we need to increase the digit in the next bigger number place. That digit is a 7, so we'll increase it to an 8. The rest of the digits in the original number will be kept the same in the rounded version. So our rounded version will be 65.80. As you can see, in some cases, rounding can actually change the digits to the left of the target digit also. It's sort of a domino effect that can happen when rounding numbers. If you have a lot of 9s, rounding can bump them all up like a chain reaction. Like, what if you need to round 1,999,999 to the nearest 10? The 9 in the ones place tells us that we need to round our target digit up by 1, but it's already a 9, so we need to 0 it and increase the next number place. But that's already a 9, so we need to 0 it and increase the next number place. But that's already a 9, and so the pattern continues until we end up with 2 million as our final rounded number. So sometimes rounding a number is pretty simple, and other times it's a little more involved. The key is to remember the rule that if the digit to the right of the target is less than 5, we leave the target digit the same. But if it's 5 or more, we increase the target digit by 1, even if that causes a chain reaction with the bigger number places. Alright, so now you know a lot about rounding numbers. You know why we round numbers, and you've seen the basic procedure in action. But just watching a video about rounding isn't enough to get really good at it. The only way to do that is to practice. So be sure to try rounding some numbers on your own. In fact, rounding is such an important math skill that you should probably practice it a lot until you've really got it mastered. As always, thanks for watching Math Antics, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, so that is the explanation or clear explanation of rounding numbers. So now let's try this. Okay, so round to the place of the underlined digit. So answer, sagutan po natin to. Nearest 10, i-round off po natin from nearest 10, nearest hundreds, nearest thousand. So ibig sabihin, yung mga naka-underline po, yun po yung i-round off natin. Okay? So write your answer, copy the number and then your answer. So another activity, round to the nearest indicated place. So tingnan nyo po sa number 1. So nearest tens. So hahanapin po natin yung nearest tens. 6 is in the place value of 1. 1 is in the place value of tens. So si 1 po ang i-round off natin. Okay, so 1, i-round off natin. Titingin tayo sa right side. Okay, so pag na-round off na po si 1, write your answer in the nearest tens dito po sa kahilera niya. And then another nearest hundred. So hahanapin natin dito ulit back to the given number. 6 is in the place value. 1 is in the tens, place value of ones, and 1 is in the place value of tens. 2 is in the place value of hundreds. So si 2, yung i-round off po natin. So yung sagot dito po natin ilalagay. Okay? So wag pong malilito. Okay. And then next, nearest thousands. We're going to find and look for the nearest thousands. So 3 is in the nearest thousands. So siya po ang i-round off natin. So sagutan po yan hanggang 10. Okay, so let's proceed to your worksheet. So sa worksheet po, meron din pong mga given numbers na i-round off po natin. Okay, so sagutan po natin yon at mag-practice pa po tayo. Okay, pwede nyo po ulit-ulitin yung video na explanation para lalong mas madali. Okay, so salamat and thank you. Enjoy grade 2. Grade 3 at mag-aral po ng mabuti. Mag-iingat po and God bless you.